All right, next question. How do you keep the chickens from freezing?
Rub 2 chickens together and see what happens.
Bok, bok.
So we did a lot of reading about chickens and what do we do and everything else. So some people talk about heating the chicken coop, but if you heat it, you run the risk of a fire.
Yep.
2, we don't really have the power to heat a chicken coop.
Run an extension cord all the way out there and it would draw too much energy.
Right. Heaters draw a ton of energy, and something, when you're on the grid, you don't actually think about how much power, a space heater or something like that takes up.
You don't think about a lot of things when you're on the grid. How easy it is to have water, and you don't think about it. You don't think about it. When you live in a house like we lived in Pennsylvania,
you just flip a switch and plug something in.
You got everything you need.
Yeah.
So we got to think a lot differently. Living like this.
Learn that the chickens, as long as you give them somewhere that they can get up, their coop is actually insulated.
Very well insulated. We built it. We're going to do a video about that in the next week or so, probably, about how we built it and constructed it, because we used good 2-inch foam in there and plywood on both sides of that, and then the metal on the outside. Yeah,
because the chickens can't be allowed to get to the insulation. They're not allowed to chew the insulation.
But we were actually able to keep their little tiny door open all winter.
Well, I read that you should
close that.
Well, so ammonia and stuff like that, we should keep their door open so they get ventilation. But if they eat right around 5:30, and when it was getting dark really early, you had to feed them a little earlier, because once it gets dark, man,
they went to bed.
Those girls, they are in bed. But so a couple times I actually went out there and I opened the door and they're up on their little perches and
all jammed together.
So they fluff up their little feathers and then they jam themselves real close together and they tuck their little feet up on the perches and they are out. So they use their body heat. We keep a lot of the wood shavings, keep those nice and thick so they can mess around with that.
But anytime we went in there, even when it was -15, -19, it was warm in there.
Yep.
It was really warm in there. And whether that was from the sun hitting it a little bit.
Because it does south face, and there is a window also.
That they lay in front of to get sun.
Yep.
Yeah. So we didn't have to do anything special to heat it. We didn't put any artificial light in there. They got enough light through that window in the front.
And they've been laying their little butts off too.
They laid all winter for us.
Yeah.
We got anywhere from 5 to 7 eggs
a day.
All winter.
Yeah, regularly.
Yeah. We were very shocked and surprised. Now, the only thing that did happen is our one hen that turned out to be a rooster, and he's a very large rooster. He stands about this tall.
He's gorgeous though.
His
His
comb actually got some frostbite on it.
But it doesn't.
None of the girls got frostbite. But I think since he's kind of the guardian, he was out a lot more than the girls were.
I definitely would see him out more than.
And he got frostbite on his cone, but
it's not bad.
No, everybody else is fine. They're doing great. So we didn't do anything special for our chickens. I mean, they're hardy chickens. Okay. What other animals are you planning to have? So, the only other animals we think we're going to have are rabbits. We're going to raise rabbits for slaughter, for eating, and for trade. So, rabbits are very prolific, and we have to control how much they're going to be breeding, but we actually are planning to process them then and have them frozen that we can trade for fish from other people.
Or red meat.
Because we didn't get to go out winter fishing, ice fishing at all, because it just didn't work out this year, and it just didn't work out. So, we don't have a lot of fish. But, or red meat, if we find, or pigs, like if we find a hog farmer and we want to trade rabbits for something, there are plenty of people here that will trade you, anything, bartering. It's like the old days, we can't go to the doctor and pay with a chicken, but, we can at least, barter for some other stuff that we don't have. So maybe, we talked about maybe a turkey, we're not sure. We're not going to have large animals. Horses we would love to have, but they're just too costly as far as maintenance, feed, vet bills, just everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a goat, then you have to worry about the goat has a baby, and then what do you do with the baby?
Yeah.
So,
we're just going to stay smaller animals.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Right now.
Yeah, as far as we're considered. So, all right. Would would we like people to save their dryer lint and send it to us? No, we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So we did a video a while back with our fire starters, and we don't have a dryer currently right now at all. We just line dry everything. But your dryer lint is very flammable, and we did this whole thing where we had people, my mom saved dryer lint for us, and we stuck it inside of used toilet paper tubes, and it makes a great fire starter. That's unfortunately why there are so many dryer fires sometimes, because people don't clean out their lint traps, or it gets caught up in the pipe and goes out and catches on fire. But so no, Plachette, we don't need you to save your dryer lint for us. We're good.
Can you imagine?
But thanks for asking. All right. Is there anything we're missing that we can't get out here that we want sent to us? Maybe some tasty cakes every now and then or something. Tasty cakes are a Pennsylvania thing. I don't know. I think we're pretty good. We just got a couple shipments of Girl Scout cookies from different folks, and I think we're good with that.
Yeah.
So
far everything, we haven't had a chance to really. We got here in September, and when we got here, we dove right in.
It was a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was like project after project till we couldn't do anything anymore. So we haven't had a chance to really take in our surroundings.
Yep.
So really don't know what we don't know.
What's available.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But no, I think we're probably good. So, but thanks for asking for that. How did we meet? So we keep talking about the dreaded UPS. I don't mean to say it like that, but we met at work at UPS.
Yep.
So I was in the Willow Grove facility, and Katrina had come from a different facility in Lawnside, New Jersey.
Yep.
And we actually ended up working in the same department, and that's how we met. And
we actually met and became friends.
Yes, we were friends for a year before we dated, and then we dated for a year before we lived together, and then we lived together for a year before we got married. So that's 3 years of getting to know each other, and I swear to God, I think everybody in the world should have to do that, because all of these people that like get married on a whim and then divorced and married and divorced, and holy mackerel, this is just so much better. So very fortunate. So that's how we met. We actually met at work. All right. Hardships so far. So, and I actually wrote an answer for this one already.
Yeah, I know what you wrote.
Winter, a little bit of a hardship. The propane hasn't been a hardship, but it had us on edge a little bit whether we were going to have enough or not.
We're very aware of our propane right now.
Yeah, it's at 50% right now, which is, it's good. I mean, we'll be able to.
Well, we're going to make it.
Yeah, we're going to make it.
So what do we use propane for, though? Like we say, we're at 50% for the propane. So the propane, obviously, we cook with propane.
Yep. Hot water.
So yeah, our hot water heater runs off of propane. There's a couple little, I don't want to call them space heaters. They're wall units. So there's one in the kitchen, because it's, it's farthest from the wood stove. We wanted to make sure you have pipes in the kitchen. We wanted to make sure all that was good.
Yep.
So if that drops below, I don't know, I think it's 57 degrees.
56. Yep.
That heater will kick on, and it has. The generator shed has a heater. Yep. Because all the solar stuff is in there, and if you've watched our solar video, the solar's not supposed to get below like 50 degrees or something like that.
The batteries can't get below 50 degrees. Yep.
Right. So that heater runs, and we had that cold spell, and I know that heater ran a lot.
Yep.
There's also 2 additional wall units, one in the bedroom, which we've never used,
right,
and one out in the bunkhouse,
which
we haven't used yet.
Right. The main draw on it is the backup generator for the batteries for the solar.
Right.
That's the main draw.
Right. So if the batteries hit 50%, then the propane generator kicks on, and that runs for like 45 minutes.
Right.
So that's been the main pull.
We've been really lucky. We just saw a question recently. Somebody asked, like, where's all the sun in Montana? I think all the sun must be right here on our mountain in Deer Lodge, because...
Well, that person that I saw, it was actually a Facebook, it was one of those Montana Facebook pages.
Right.
And they said that they hadn't had a sunny day. This was just the other day. They hadn't had a sunny day in 87 days.
We don't understand what that's like. We had days all winter that were full sun days. Our batteries charged all the way up to 100%. Even with 18 inches of snow on the ground. We get sun like every day. Today is a little overcast, but we still have... I just checked the batteries, solar batteries, like 2 hours ago, and we were already at like 83%. So We had a lot of sun. I was
Yeah.
really surprised all winter how much sun we actually got and how lucky we were.
I'm happy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we had plenty of sun. So another thing that was a hardship were our pipes freezing in the bathroom. And it only happened on those really, really cold nights. So we're going to address that in the spring. We're going to re-insulate the wall. We're going to do a couple different things with the foundation, and that'll take care of that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that next winter.
Food for winter. Now, we weren't starving. We weren't starving. We just would have liked to have been able to hunt and had more stuff in the freezer.
And the bottom line is, we actually could have hunted if we had decided before we moved
out of state license
and tried to get an out of state license. So out of state licenses are harder to get, but they're way, way more expensive.
Ridiculous.
Than in state licenses. Yeah. But in order to get an in state license, you have to be here. You have to be a permanent resident for 6 months.
And we just missed it.
Yeah, we missed it. We missed it.
So it wasn't that it was a hardship, and we did other things. We trapped rabbits and stuff like that. So we had rabbits several times. Squirrel. We weren't starving by any means, and we did buy enough groceries from the grocery store that we have food in the freezer. But we just wish that it had been different.
Right. So the plan, though, going forward is to make sure we get our licenses in, fishing license in May, and then all of our hunting licenses as that rolls in.
And be stocked with stuff that...
So we're not buying grocery store meat.
Right, that we provided ourselves with. Yeah, so. All right. Another thing, and it wasn't a hardship, but it was something we really had to think about, was making sure we had enough food for our animals. For Pinto, we had to make sure we had enough canned dog food, bagged dog food. Massey, our cat, the same thing. Enough canned dog food, enough bagged dog food, enough cat litter to make it all the way through the winter.
And so, so here's the thing. So you buy bags and bags of whatever. Now you have to store it.
Yep.
So Kim spent a lot of time, and I have a couple friends who we all made fun of Kim like crazy. But Kim would be able to tell you exactly how long certain things lasted. Like, Kim could tell you in our house how long a roll of toilet paper lasted because, she did all these things. And
a tube of toothpaste.
Yes, I love her to death. But going into this, everything we owned was dated with the date we started it. So you looked at a tube of toothpaste and it would read 2/1 because she opened that tube of toothpaste on 2/1. But so... I love you. But
no, we did it for years before we moved so that we knew exactly how long things would last.
But like, Pinto's dog food isn't dog food we buy at the grocery store.
No.
So we have to make sure that we can get that. Massey is on prescription cat food.
Yeah.
And he likes, he likes his dry food, but he likes his canned food. So we had to do all that math to figure out we needed to make sure we had 6 months worth of pet food just to be happy and safe.
Yeah, and to make sure we had enough for them for the whole winter. And so their big bags of food are stored inside of brute trash cans in the garage right now. But even just cat litter, we had to make sure we had enough stuff for our animals.
Because he's very picky with his cat litter too, so we don't have grocery store cat litter because he's a pip.
Yep. Okay, so 2 more questions. I know we're probably about 15-20 minutes into this. Next question. Were you scared?
Well, define scared though.
Were you scared? Were you scared to live like this?
I wasn't scared to be out here. Me
either. I feel totally safe here every single day, every single night. Even when I came out here by myself and slept here by myself, I was never scared. I was scared of the concept of what we were doing coming to live off grid.
I was concerned coming out here about are we going to get everything done in time, right? So we got here in September, we needed all of our firewood and, stuff wasn't done. And then we get here and stuff's still not getting done. So those things alarmed me.
Right. But I think scared,
but I'm
it was a scary move. We sold a shit ton of our stuff before we moved. We drove cross country. I'm in a U-Haul truck with the cat at my feet. Katrina's in my Jeep pulling a trailer with the dog with her. And that was scary. And then getting here and not having stuff done was scary. And then wondering if we were going to make it through the first winter was scary. But not
Yeah,
Like, I
like,
wasn't,
I'm not scared to be here.
like, I knew we could do it.
Everything we do is new. So not realizing when you live in town, right?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. So I need a blender.
Yeah.
The blender doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do? You can't just run to Target or whatever and pick up a new one. So those kinds of things, we're right now averaging once every 4 to 6 weeks we're going into town. And so those things are new to us.
Right. But I think I'm not going to say like scared. It was more a challenge, I guess, is a good word.
Yes.
Is more of a challenge.
I was not happy those couple days with the pipes freezing kind of things.
No, that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. But, you know, it was a pretty big deal to pick up and just go pick up everything and move.
Leave everything.
Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of a funny question. And
I grew up in Jersey. I moved to Pennsylvania with you. I never lived out of that tri-state area. As that area
But so
called.
think about that. When you move from one state to another, just like that, from a normal house situation to another normal house situation, you weren't necessarily scared, right? Here, we moved to a totally new environment, a totally new situation, a totally new way of life. So, you know, scared in those senses, I guess, but not scared physically. Like, we were never scared physically. We were just, you know, but if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. I used to always say that when I taught my classes, and I still feel that way. And we're challenged every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. It's awesome, but it's a fun challenge. And then the last question is, why did you want to work so hard in your retirement? And so it's a different kind of work. Like, we even talked about that when we have to go out and we had to shovel our fence lines to make sure that the electric fence wasn't down in the snow, you know, for conducting and stuff like that. And I said to Katrina, man, it doesn't even feel like work. We're out here and we're like shoveling and we're doing stuff, and it doesn't feel like work, because I wasn't stressed because I didn't have to get the driveway cleared, like back in Pennsylvania, get the driveway cleared by 3:00 in the afternoon to make dinner, to make sure I got her off to work. And then she's coming home at 5 in the morning, and if it had snowed, I get up at 4:00 in the morning, go out and snow blow the driveway again, and it was work. And like, it's just, it's different. It's a different kind of work. I think all of the work that we do here is self-fulfilling.
I was just going to say it's fulfilling. I wasn't going to self-fulfilling.
Doing the firework is... Firewood is fulfilling. Taking care of the chickens is fulfilling. Going out and checking our trap lines every day is fulfilling.
Like, I call them the girls, but like, you go out and you take care of the chickens, and you go out there and you feed the chickens, and the chickens give you eggs, right? So, you know, I go out there and I bring in tomorrow's breakfast, so to speak. Yeah. You know,
but so it's fulfilling work. It's a different kind of work, and it's hard work, but it's enjoyable and it's fulfilling, I think, is the bottom line. Mm-hmm. And I forgot about the chickens. We had to make sure we had enough chicken food for 6 months to make it through the winter too. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we answered all the questions. I'm sure there might be more, and like we said, feel free to
just
send them out to us.
I was gonna say,
this was kind of fun for us. Yeah. So
put them in the comments or whatever. We'll put another list together, and
so we'll get this out there for you, and we'll talk to you next time. So cheers from the homestead.
See ya.
Bye.